So today is day 5 of my voice archetype challenge. This is if you don't know me, I'm Alex. I'm a voice coach. This is a challenge that I'm doing for 21 days, where I come up with different character voices while I kind of guide you, whoever's watching this. Hello, hello, you're whoever. It's nice to meet you. And I'm guiding like through the process of making different character voices, basically, as I go through the pure acting archetypes challenge, which I'll link in the description. So yep, if you're interested in voice and stuff, subscribe, do those things. And today we're going to be talking about, well, being real. Being real. How do you create a voice where it's a different voice from your voice, but it allows you to do acting, which for me, everyone's got their idea of what acting means. For me, acting means being like real and present with the stuff you're doing, with the people that are there, with the lines, not thinking. You're not kind of going, oh, what am I going to say? What are my lines? If you're thinking, what are my lines? You're not acting. You're reading, even if you're not reading in front of you. So that's my opinion. So one thing that can happen with voices. This happened yesterday, so you want to check out yesterday's video if you want. I looked at like character voices from cartoons, and I got a bit disheartened at the end of the day because I arrived at a final voice and it was really rough. So when you're making rough, not like a dog, but when you're making a new voice, that's what happens at the beginning often, is that you get this like really broad strokes voice. Maybe you've got like a new accent or something, and basically what's happening there is, I think of it like a painter, right? So if you imagine you're painting something, you're going to paint a house. What you would do first, I mean on an easel in a canvas, not paint a house like the walls, you put on like broad strokes. Maybe you go, okay, this is the color of the walls, this is the color of the roof, and you get this thing, and you could say it's a house, but mostly it's like just painting, and then you move in and you put in the detail, and then you move in and you put even more detail, and then eventually you have this sort of wonderful oil painting that looks exactly like a house. And that's what happens with the voice. You go in with these really large, broad strokes, and they sound a bit kind of crap. And as you get to know that voice well, you can start to actually act. You can start to actually play. So today, I'm going to go into the process that I'm going to use. I'm not even going to do learning voices from things. I'm going to go straight into my takes for the day, and I'm going to do it with a voice that I already know. So this is my accent. This is my natural accent. It's kind of it's a bit neutral in inverted commas for various reasons. But when I was at school, I used to have a Scottish accent. So this is the way that I maybe talked. This is the kind of Scottish accent I would have. I had to do that because I went to school in Scotland. I am Scottish, and I went to school. I didn't have a Scottish accent. They used to call me Posh Boy. That was my nickname. So this is like, it is my natural accent a bit, but it's always been put on because it's not something I do naturally. So I'm going to play around with a Scottish accent. I'm not asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to be honest. You've been carrying this for too long, alone, and it's starting to show. Before I show you my takes, so I've just done my takes, and I used a technique. I didn't know I was going to do it, so before I show you, I'm going to explain it. And what it is talking to someone, or talking to myself, around the kind of feelings of the piece, or the meaning of the piece, and kind of keeping it really, really close to my actual self. So I was struggling to kind of get into the lines because I was kind of delivering them rather than living them. So one of the ways that I kind of use to get into a place where I'm living them is to just talk to myself, or externally to myself for that, in that idea. But you could also imagine talking to someone else if there's some situation that's similar to the script, to the person in the life. In this case, I started talking to myself, my younger self. It sort of worked with the script, and just talking around it. And then when I feel like I'm in a space where, like, okay, this feels real. I'm actually just talking to myself. I'm just talking to this person. In this case, I've got a doll over there that I'm looking at because that's the eye line. But when I feel that, then I launch into the script. So there's this little bit of me. There's a bit of you. I'm going to talk to myself. There's a bit of you that's like, I have to do this. Like, I have to do this perfect. I have to talk in the right way. I can't make mistakes. I can't, like, it's got to be really good. I've got to be a really good actor. I'm doing things on a fucking, putting things on YouTube. You're doing it all yourself, You're trying to do everything yourself, actually. Like, this is actually true. For years, you try to do things yourself. I'm not asking you to be strong right now. I'm asking you to be honest. You've been holding this alone for years, and it's starting to show. Let me in. Let someone stand beside you instead of behind you. This isn't me. Obviously, that's the whole point. That's like I created this accent. It's not even this accent. This is like more Glaswegian than it used to be when I was at school. I didn't even know what I sounded like when I was at school. But I created it because I needed to, because it was a protection. What would I say to myself? Actually, me, like a young, 12, 13-year-old, like 14. But it's like, if I was to talk to myself, I'd be like, you're quite, you're really strong, actually, to do that. Like, that's really cool. But it's really hard because you're doing it yourself. And I think maybe you don't need to, I'm not asking you to be strong right now. I'm asking you to be honest. You've held this alone for too long, and it's starting to show. Let me in. Let someone stand beside you instead of behind you. I don't need you fixed. I don't need you fearless. I just need you present. You don't lose your independence by asking for help. You gain the chance to survive this. Okay, so you've seen the takes and a bit of the sort of pre-chatter that I did, and it sounds quite serious, doesn't it? But that's part of that trick. Is to just genuinely kind of delve somewhere in yourself where you actually do feel something like that. You don't need to be. It doesn't need to be any more difficult than that. It doesn't need to be like have to go dark places or anything. Maybe you just get like, I don't know, that particular speech. Maybe I could have got something that I could have been like, I don't know, I could have watched a TV show and I've been like really sad by something. I could just talk to the person in the eye line, the toy that I have there. I could just talk to her about the TV show. Like, it was really sad or whatever. Yeah, just a quick way to kind of access a tone, I suppose. One note that I will bring was that there were quite a few takes that I sort of looked back on, and I was like, that what I was doing was I was looking at the eye line, and when I was doing the next line, I looked up here. I call this, when I'm working with people, looking at the invisible script in your head. So because I didn't like fully embody that script, so I didn't do much learning of it at all, that's what can happen on film, is that we don't even notice it in the moment. It's kind of like we black out a little bit because we're remembering the line. But what happens in our face is that we look off in this sort of glaikit, it's a Scottish word, like this empty way, and actually we're trying to access the line. So a lot of the takes didn't work. They might have been okay for other reasons, but because they weren't fully in my body, then I couldn't use them because my eyes were giving away the fact that I didn't know the script so well. That is today. That was the ally. Quite a different one, going kind of deep. Just going sort of simple, I would say. simple acting. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow.